A smorgasbord of new RVs are about to hit the market, from big destination trailers to decks and porches and patios all over the place, plus some new air conditioner and suspension technology and more. It's time for our overview of the best of this year's RV dealer open house. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to RV Miles. I'm Jason. I just returned from the annual dealer open house that happens in Elkhart, Indiana, where lots of new stuff in the RV industry, whether it's floor plans or technology or products, is shown to dealers. So it's a little different than a standard RV show, if you don't know. The model year changeover happens every summer, essentially, and a lot of new products debut at the big RV show in Hershey, Pennsylvania that just happened. But RV shows are still primarily events for dealers to sell products to customers. So a couple weeks later every year, there's this big event that's not open to the public where dealers are wined and dined by the RV manufacturers to try to get them to buy a lot of that new product to put on their lots. So some of the stuff at open house is the same stuff that was shown off in Hershey, but a lot of it isn't. Some of it is stuff they hold back so their competitors don't get an edge on them. So I've spent the last few days in Elkhart touring lots of RVs, and I want to give you my impressions of the show, some of the trends that are happening, and show you some glimpses of the most interesting units and technology I saw at open house. And to be clear, I definitely did not see everything. I also want to be clear that not everything you see here will be available right now. Some of it's just going to be coming soon. Let's kick off, though, with what is by far the biggest trend of this year in the RV industry: destination trailers. I did a whole video a few weeks ago on what a destination trailer is, but it's essentially a trailer that's meant to sit in one place for the most part and only moved on occasion, sometimes by a big hauler. Maybe it's for a seasonal site or your winter home. There's just been an explosion of brands throwing these into their lineups. But if you're not interested in destination trailers, check these out anyway, because hopefully some of the design ideas, colors and such will filter down into some of the other units out there, because these destination trailers are really some of the best RV design there is right now. We're going to start with some of the big units and work our way down. In a bit of a surprise, Alliance RV launched the Benchmark destination trailer line. This was really their only big announcement other than a few floor plans this year. And opposed to some other ones you'll see in a bit, it looks and feels very much like an Alliance. What do I mean by that? Well, I think the look and feel of Alliance has really been established now. It's not gaudy luxury, it's not bold and brassy, it's comfortable, it's clean, it's functional, it's nice inside, like a good hotel room, without being something that's going to polarize customers. Don't get me wrong, it's higher end than most destination trailers out there by far. It's just not loud about it. The debut floor plan, the Benchmark 44 LFT, features 2 full large bathrooms and lofts on both sides of the coach. It's built with composite floors and sidewalls. There's a washer dryer, 2 30,000 BTU furnaces, and 3 15,000 BTU air conditioners. The lofts are great because one is actually divided into 2 smaller full-size bed spaces. So it's almost like you have 4 bedrooms in this trailer, and they each have a staircase instead of a hard-to-climb ladder. This unit is just jam-packed with storage. Every inch of possible space has a cabinet or a drawer, and they're, really good quality wood cabinets. The actual numbers aren't available on this unit yet, but I believe it's about 45 feet. So for a travel trailer, that's something that the vast majority of people are just going to have delivered somewhere. And this is where I should say RV Miles isn't the place where you're going to get full in-depth tours of everything new. For that, you're going to want to check out other channels like Matt's RV Reviews, Josh the RV Nerd, Big Truck Big RV, and several other creators that do actual tours and give you all the details. And if you want to know more about this unit in particular, over on the Big Truck Big RV channel, JD, Josh, and Matt actually collaborated on a review of this unit that you should check out. And speaking of Matt, the sponsor of today's video is his liquefied toilet tank treatment that is absolutely exploding in popularity. Matt tells me you're going to see it in a lot of stores very soon, and I got to check out their new warehouse space in Elkhart when I was there. Liquefied treats your black tank with a fresh orange or lavender smell in both the liquid and drop-in versions. I really like the easy to dispense bottle on the liquid version. It's a product created by RVers for RVers that everyone is saying works better than any other tank treatment. Matt did some testing to find out the best tank product, and he didn't really find any that he liked, so he went to a chemical company to collaborate on making his own tank treatment. They now have a toilet bowl cleaner and a gray tank cleaner as well. Visit liquefiedrv.com to get yours today, or find Liquefied on Amazon. Links are in the description below. Next up, this crazy, gorgeous Riverstone Lost Pines destination trailer. This is Riverstone's first entry into the destination trailer market, and this one is huge, though it doesn't have any slides, a pro for some, a con for others. It has a slanted roof for water runoff that drains away from your campsite, and the air conditioning is provided by a mini split that rides on the trailer tongue. But just check out this gorgeous interior. There's not really room to entertain. There's no dining table, just a counter that looks out a window with a couple stools. It has lots of space inside, but the lack of a slide and the big open spaces means you walk through the bathroom to get to the rear bedroom. Some people care about that, others don't. I think this is really for the couple that wants to be away from anyone else and have a very cozy, stylish retreat. Cedar Creek has been building their cottage destination trailers for quite a while now, but check out this new fifth wheel style version, the 41 FWC, which is a wild departure from their other units. The look of the graphics on the outside is bound to be polarizing, but they've actually printed them onto the fiberglass instead of applying a vinyl, which they say will be much more durable. And the exterior seams are riveted aluminum that requires no caulk. It'll be really interesting to see if that becomes a time-tested construction method. But step inside. First off, the door on this thing, just like the Riverstone, is 38 inches wide, which not only means you can take real furniture in and out, but a wheelchair can fit through the door if you have a deck that ramps up to it. It's stupid gorgeous inside, with dual sleeping lofts in addition to the primary bedroom. They wisely put the stairs to the rear loft at the very back of the unit, which opens all kinds of space under the loft for the living room. You don't get a second bath because of that, which I personally prefer, others won't. There's another loft over the bathroom, and the primary bedroom is huge with a great reading nook in the front window. But this thing is actually reasonably towable. It weighs just under 15,000 pounds unloaded and is 42 foot 6 inches long. That's right in line with a lot of bigger luxury fifth wheels. The big difference here, though, is that even though it has an incredible 6,500 pounds of cargo carrying capacity, they're big axles on this beast, you're not going to find too many places on the outside to store stuff. I don't think this is something you're going to want to haul 20,000 miles a year, but if you want to travel with it occasionally, it's totally doable with a big dually. And this is where the lines really start to blur, because a lot of the fifth wheel manufacturers are making things that look a lot more like a destination trailer. Maybe it takes a little more time to prep them for travel because they have jumbo sofas that need to come apart before you bring the slide in, or perhaps a deck or a porch that needs to collapse. That's the biggest other trend I'm noticing. I saw so many decks this year. We've of course seen decks on toy hauler ramps for years, and a hint of decks over the last year in units like the Timberwolf Mini Loft, another destination style trailer that's a little more towable than the typical one, and the Ibex and No Boundaries RV Suite 1 that debuted last year, which now has a sister floor plan that instead of the Murphy bed has a slide. It's called the RVS 2, but at Open House I got to see the new longer and a little bit more difficult to tow model with a lofted bunk room. This is the RV Suite 3. It's under 10,000 pounds dry, but it's 40 feet long. Too long, in my opinion, to tow often as a conventional travel trailer. It's not going to pull like a fifth wheel of the same length, but it's still got that great rear permanent non-folding deck. I still wish these RV suites had propane on board instead of being all electric, especially for heating, but they're unique. The interiors are fresh and different, and I really love the way they look. So what's behind this destination trailer trend? Well, a lot of the folks that I talked to at Open House posited that people are living in them instead of traditional homes, often qualifying that remark with sadly or unfortunately. I don't necessarily know that people who are struggling financially are choosing a destination trailer instead of renting an apartment or a home, especially some of the ultra premium ones, which are going to be over $100,000. Maybe I'm wrong, but my hunch is that the mainstream RV industry is actually cutting into the sales of the more traditional cabin-like park model RVs, which are a bit more expensive. They have to be built to a higher standard, and they're even harder to move, often requiring oversized load permits and a commercial hauler. I think your average RV resort is still buying the big park models for their on-site cabins, but I think folks who own or rent a seasonal site are seeing these destination trailers as a lot more reasonable and flexible if they ever decide to move to another park. The RV Industry Association doesn't track destination trailers as their own category, but as of August 31st, the RV industry has produced about 9% more RVs than last year, while park model RV manufacturing is down a whopping 27%, even with all these destination trailers being sold and all these high-end RV parks coming online recently. But obviously, we do have a housing problem in this country, and perhaps there is some truth to the idea that more people are choosing to live in RV parks permanently because of it. Let's take a look how the destination trailer trend, though, is filtering down into more traditional fifth wheels and travel trailers. Sabre has been a bit of a stalwart fifth wheel manufacturer. They don't make a lot of noise, but they do a really great job, and they've really come into their own in the last few years. They only make fifth wheels and normally only a small range of 8 or so floor plans each year. They now build them on BAL NXG frames, which are huck riveted instead of welded, which is said to be stronger than your typical RV frame weld. Sabre has come out with several floor plans over the last 2 years that are wild departures from what I've seen in most other brands, and this year's no exception. They've now debuted a new 33 RLP, which has the first of its kind 10-foot electric fold-out side porch. This thing's really interesting. It doesn't take too long to put out, and it's not as deep as some of the toy hauler side porches you've seen, so it doesn't take up as much of the campsite. It's about as deep as a slide, and because of the sliding glass doors and the unique way that it folds, if there's not enough room to put it out at the campsite, you don't just get a big blank wall, you actually still get a lot of window space. You'll see this on a couple other units from Keystone, a hideout travel trailer that has it on the back, and a Montana that has it on the side, but they haven't done the sliding glass doors like Sabre, just screens, so you'll need to bring it in and out when you want to close it off. I love this patio. It's so unique. I believe Sabre and Keystone have it exclusively from the supplier for a year, so you're not going to see it anywhere else. Sabre's also really capitalized on the view you get with it open with a jumbo sectional sofa. Check out all of that seating space and the size of that TV and fireplace. The ottoman also lifts up and toward you to provide an eating or work surface. This is a couples coach under 40 foot that allows you a lot of access to most of the kitchen, bath, and bedroom, even with the slides closed on a travel day or in storage. Sabre's probably the most proud of this unit and thinks it just might be the best in show unit, but it's a different Sabre floor plan that bowled me over. The 36ML is a rear loft unit for the kids with a really well laid out kitchen and a great pantry and its own little slide. But the showstopper here is the rear fixed deck that lives under the loft. How many campsites have you been to where the gorgeous view is at the rear, whether you're in the trees or overlooking a river or on a beach? It has composite floor planks, just like your deck at home might have. It's not a screened-in porch, but there are drop-down shades. And get this, misters to keep you cool. And because it's a fixed deck, just like the Ibex and Nobo RV suites, you can actually have your outdoor gear like bikes and camp furniture ride back here. Bikes in particular are a real problem for a lot of fifth wheels, and this porch solves it. The loft space has a tall ceiling and is big enough for 2 kids to sleep. And again, you get a giant L-shaped sofa and a really easy pull-out bed for additional sleeping space, a super large TV, and that nice convertible ottoman. You don't have the best access in road mode, but you can get to the bathroom and to the kitchen if you don't load up that patio. You'll have to come in through the rear. This is a big guy, though. It's a full-size 43-foot fifth wheel with a rear drop frame, so it's a bit of a beast to tow around, but at a reasonable weight, which is yet to be disclosed, but in general, Sabre does a really excellent job of keeping weights down and cargo capacity high. It's probably going to be around 13,000 pounds unloaded with a cargo capacity in the mid 2,000 pound range if you compare it to some of their other models. Before we move away from the balcony deck patio sort of segment, Cherokee, whose Timberwolf line helped start both the whole patio craze and the smaller towable destination trailer craze off, have gone whole hog on side patios on smaller destination trailers. Again, these are going to take a while to set up, but they're more towable than some of the bigger destination trailers. Most destination trailers have no campsite slides so that you can build a deck next to them like you saw in the Alliance video. This is sort of the alternative to that. Take the big old deck with you. Moving over to the folks at Columbus, who pioneered the flat floor River Ranch RV with tons and tons of belly storage, just like a Class A motorhome. They've refined and reconfigured some options based on that platform. The new River Ranch 394 FLL has a little entry area that feels like an actual foyer, or foyer if you prefer. To the left are 2 bedrooms, the primary bedroom downstairs with its own big bathroom, and a loft right above that bedroom that has stairs to get up to it instead of a ladder. You also get a half bath in the entry, and Columbus made the full front end one level. So you get all of that underneath storage with a combined living room and island kitchen. Most upper decks in fifth wheels have ceilings in the 6'6" range, but Columbus is able to somehow do a full 7 foot, so you don't feel cramped in your main living space. There's something else wild about this unit though. It's got 4 air conditioners, and in what they're calling a first for a fifth wheel, they can all run at the same time on 50 amp power. The reason they did 4 was they wanted to really have good cooling in both that loft and the bedroom underneath. This unit is real special. It's a real departure from anything else, which is getting harder and harder to do. The footage of this River Ranch comes from Hunter, the RV Hunter. I'm going to link to his full tour in the description. You have to check out this video to see this thing in its entirety if you're looking for something like it. As we work our way smaller through the trailer segments, Vengeance's Rogue Armored Toy Haulers have come up with a unique solution to shorten a toy hauler a bit. They've used the first interior slide I've ever seen in an RV. So when you pull all the toys out of the garage area of the toy hauler, you can extend this little interior slide to increase your living room space. They've also introduced a new Rogue Armored travel trailer line that have a really nice front bedroom layout, one of the best bedroom layouts I've seen in a travel trailer. They used a video projector instead of a TV for entertainment, and the projector shoots at the shade of your campsite window. I'm not sure I like the projector. It's kind of dim in the daylight. I'd probably just rather have a TV or no TV, to be honest. But this bedroom is a home run otherwise, and I hear that they're going to be making several other floor plans with this exact bedroom. Moving smaller, the folks at Palomino have a new travel trailer bunkhouse floor plan, the Puma 337BH. It has 2 bunks in the center of the rear, each with its own opposing wall. Each kid has its complete own private bedroom. It's a 3-bedroom travel trailer. This and several of these other floor plans that I've shown you so far are part of one of the trends I'm seeing that I really like. Fewer floor plans that can sleep 14 people uncomfortably, and more floor plans that give an owner real comfortable options for the amount of people that they're actually going to travel with. Okay, moving to motorhomes. I'll be honest, I didn't really encounter much new that blew me away. That's not to say it wasn't there, but I just didn't come across it. I didn't make it to anywhere near every manufacturer, and some of the big motorhome debuts like the Grand Design Lineage happened before open house. There was one big prototype debut though. Thor was showing off their electric hybrid Class A chassis, a collaboration with Harbinger Motors. Prototype is probably too strong a word. In fact, Thor is calling this a test vehicle. This is an electric motor vehicle with a gas range extender, essentially a generator, which they say gives it 500 miles of range. The platform's 800-volt electrical architecture allows for rapid charging at DC fast charger locations, and of course, the batteries can also be charged at traditional campsites. Now, this isn't the first time Thor has shown off an electric chassis. They prototyped a Class B camper van platform and the eStream electric Airstream chassis. Both debuted to the public almost 3 years ago now, but have not made it to market in any way. In fact, we haven't heard much from the establishment RV industry at all on electric motorhomes or trailers since, while there have been a slew of boutique electric trailer chassis announced like the Pebble Flow, which you may have seen on this channel. But apparently Class A units utilizing the Harbinger hybrid platform will be commercially available by Thor in 2025. So that'll be really interesting to see, because you'd think that the first electric motorhomes or hybrid motorhomes to come to market would be on a smaller or more aerodynamic Class B type. While we're on the technology side of things, Lippert Components brought dealers to a special event to demonstrate some of its latest trailer technology. I'm here at the Elkhart Municipal Airport, where Lippert Industries, who makes a lot of the components that get put on RVs, has brought some people out to take a test of their new anti-lock braking system. What they've done is they've taken a strip of linoleum and put it down the runway here at the airport because the pavement wasn't quite slick enough, and then they've soaped it down. And they've got some big trucks pulling some big RVs, and they're showing us what happens when you slam on the brakes at full speed, pulling some of these big fifth wheels with anti-lock brakes instead of traditional braking systems. Lippert's anti-lock brake system has been out for a year now, but I got to experience it firsthand, and it was pretty impressive. We were driven in 1-ton trucks pulling heavy fifth wheels down a runway, and the driver slammed on the brakes to demonstrate the speed in which we could stop on dry pavement. Then we moved to the soapy linoleum surface, and the control the driver was able to keep of the fifth wheel was truly eye-opening. Unfortunately, this isn't an aftermarket add-on, but it's a big plus if the unit that you buy has it. I think all big fifth wheels should have anti-lock brakes. It's really a big safety feature. There are some features with the anti-lock brakes that work with an app too. They tell you if you need brake maintenance or if a brake isn't working properly. It also acts as an odometer for your trailer. They also showed off the new Curt touring coil suspension system, which has also been out for about a year, but they paired it with the brand new Helix coil spring pin box. And I got to experience these in a really neat way. They piled us into 2 fifth wheels that we actually rode in down a bumpy airport taxiway. We rode inside the trailer. One had a traditional leaf spring suspension and one had the new touring coil spring suspension. Watching the TV shutter on the wall in the unmodified version was really eye-opening. You felt every bump hard and it was loud. It's a miracle TVs survive this. And I say unmodified, this actually was a unit with upgraded CRE 3000 equalizers, so a standard suspension would be even worse. The coil spring suspension was nearly as loud of a ride, but the noise was coming from the suspension, not from the box of the unit. Lippert says the coil spring technology reduces road shock by 50%, and I'd say that feels pretty accurate. It was still somewhat bumpy, but this suspension is going to save a lot of wear on an RV. I can speak from experience here. We have an Ibex with Curt's independent off-road suspension, which is a similar thing, but each wheel can act independently since the axles aren't solid across. Besides being great in off-road situations, it tows so much better with little need for weight distribution or sway bars. I don't know if the touring suspension improves tracking in a fifth wheel. It's already pretty great in a fifth wheel, but the touring suspension is still a solid axle system. But this is definitely an option I'd be looking for on a heavy, expensive fifth wheel. But that's all going to come at a cost. Lippert has a new option for more affordable leaf spring suspensions too. Their new slipper roller leaf spring leaves one end of each spring pair free floating under a steel roller instead of fixed in place with a bolt. It keeps the axles parallel even on rough terrain. Lippert says the slipper spring is designed to reduce stress on the system 15 to 20%, and that the equalizer has bump stops that prevent over-rotation and protect the frame from high-impact loads. That all should result in better fuel economy and reduced tire wear as well because there's less drag on the tires. I then went over to Lippert headquarters where I got to experience the new Furion Chill Cube variable compressor air conditioner. They announced it a while back, but I got to feel it and see it in person and hear it. This thing is incredibly quiet and it uses way less power, particularly on startup. If I remember correctly, the engineer said it pulls 6 to 7 amps on startup, making soft starts a thing of the past and greatly improving the ability to run an air conditioner on a small generator or battery power. There's a ducted version and a non-ducted version. The non-ducted version has a motorized port that oscillates the cool air back and forth. Not to be outdone, Dometic also introduced a new air conditioner system at Open House that they're calling the Kings of Cool. It consists of the new FreshJet 7 Series rooftop air conditioner and Fantastic Vent 2. These are both things that have been around a while, but they've been completely redone, and they're designed to work together. The FreshJet 7 is also a variable speed compressor like the Chill Cube, so you should get all the same benefits. Basically, that means it's always on when it's on. The compressor is always running. It just varies the speed that it needs to make it cool, instead of turning on and off regularly like a traditional compressor. This is the same technology that inverter generators use, and it keeps power usage down while keeping the temperature more consistent. No more going up to 74 and down to 70 and back and forth all day. This unit is also very quiet. The Fantastic Vent 2 complements and integrates with the FreshJet 7 air conditioner to keep things cool. But something really neat about this little fan is they built a port into it that you can use to run your solar wires through, maybe a Starlink cable or the wiring for a backup camera, without the need to cut more holes into the roof. Over at Jayco, they've been doing some interesting things with drinking water for a while, things like drinking water specific faucets, but this year they've partnered with Nuvo H2O on Pinnacle fifth wheels to install a standard whole coach water treatment with triple cartridge filters. A lot of people add these after the fact. This is going to come standard on the Pinnacles, and it includes a water softening system. That's really cool. So that's everything I saw at Open House. Again, this isn't even close to comprehensive, but it's what was the most interesting to me of the stuff that I ran across. I love to know your thoughts on these units and technologies in the comments. And if you want to hear more about some of the trends I noticed this year, I'm going to be discussing those a little more in depth with Abby over on the RV Miles podcast. You can find it on any podcast app and over on the RV Miles podcast YouTube channel. I'm going to put the link to it up here somewhere. Thanks a lot for being here, everybody. Hit the like button if you got something out of this video. Subscribe if you want more like it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.